Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be learning how to cut this beautiful blazer with a Queen Anne neckline. So if it's something you would love to learn, do well to watch to the end of the video, like, share and subscribe. So let's get right to it. So from the top here is our shoulder line and our starting point, and before we take our measurement, I'm going to be marking 1 inch all the way down for our button allowance. And I'll go ahead and connect all these points together to form a straight line. So all of our measurement will be taken after this line. So from our starting point, I'm going to come down to mark my bust point. From my shoulder to my bust point is 9.5 inches. I will extend that point across. Then from the shoulder line again, I'm going to come down to mark my under bust. From my shoulder to my under bust is 12 inches. I will extend the point across as well. Then from the shoulder line again, I'm going to come down to mark my waist point. From my shoulder to my waist in front is 16 inches. I'm going to mark that all the way to have a straight line, and I will extend the point across. Then the next thing now is to mark the length of our blazer. I'm going to be marking 24 inches. So at this point, it depends on what you want. You can do lesser than this or higher than this. It depends on the length you are going for, and I will go ahead and extend the point across as well, and I will label my lines appropriately. This is my full length, my waistline, my under bust line and my bust line. I'm going to make sure all your measurements are taken after the button allowance. I'm going to come to the shoulder line, divide my shoulder by 2. At that point, I will come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll mark my neck width of 2.5 inches. Yes, I'm using 2.5 inches for my neck width, and I'm going to connect from there to the shoulder slope. I'm going to come down to mark my neck depth of 3 inches, though we'll be adjusting this neck later. This is not the neck we are going for. I'll connect. The next thing is to mark our chest line. To mark your chest line, divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches to the measurement. I got 7. I'm going to extend that point across. On the chest line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement to have a straight line, and I'll connect from the shoulder slope all the way to the point we just marked on the chest line. I'm going to come to this line, divide it into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. I'm going to mark the midpoint. At the midpoint, I'm going to go in by half an inch. I'll come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. Then I'll connect all these points to form my armhole. So the next thing is to mark our dart, and to mark your dart, you're going to divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I'll mark it on the chest line, on the bust line, on the under bust line, on the waistline, and all the way to the full length, and I'll connect all these points together with a straight line. So this is our center front, and this side is our side front. On the center front, on the under bust, I'm going to mark half an inch, and then on the side front I'll mark 1 inch. But if you're a plus size person, on the center front you can mark 1 inch, then on the side front you can mark 1.5 inches, all right, or mark 1 inch on both sides. I'll mark that all the way to the full length, and I'll go ahead and connect all these points together with a straight line. On the bust line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and I'll connect from the under bust with my curve rule all the way to the 1 inch this way. I'll do the same thing on this other side. Now I'm going to determine where I want my top to start from. You can decide to maintain your chest line if you want it low, if you want to review your cleavage, but I'll be coming up from the chest line by 1 inch, and you can do more than 1 inch, depends on how covered you want your cleavage to be. And I'll extend this point across this way. I'm going to extend this dart leg all the way to the new line we just marked. So on this line, I'm going to mark half an inch on both sides of this dart leg, and I'll connect it back into the initial line with my curve rule this way. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to impute our round body measurement. We've already marked our bust measurement, so this 1 inch for that here, I'm going to replace it here, then add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the under bust line, divide my under bust by 4, the 1.5 inches for that, I'll replace it, then add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the waistline, divide my waist by 4, the 1.5 inches for that, I'll replace it at my sewing allowance. I'll come to the hip, divide my hip by 4, then replace the dart intake, add my sewing allowance as well, and then I'll go ahead and connect all these points together. The next thing we're going to do right now is to mark our bust dart. And to mark our bust dart, this is the difference you have from your shoulder to your waist in front and from your shoulder to your waist at the back. And mine is 1.5 inches because my shoulder to my waist in front is 16, while from my shoulder to my waist at the back is 14.5. I came down by that 1.5 inches from the bust line, then connected it back into our dart leg this way. We're going to be cutting this out. So we have like an opening in front of this blazer, just a small opening from where our buttons stop. So from the dart leg, I'm going to be coming in by 3 inches. It depends on how you want your opening to be, how small or wide you want it. Then from the waistline, I'm going to be coming down by 4.5 inches. I'm going to be coming down by 4.5 inches. It depends on where you want your opening to stop as well. And I'm going to connect from the button allowance all the way to that point we just marked on the baseline like this. And this is it for this part. So for our Queen Anne neckline, I'm going to come in from our armhole by 2 inches, and I'm going to connect from my neck depth all the way to that 2 inches this way. And this is what we have for the neck, and this is basically it. I'm going to come up here by 0.5 so that we don't have any gap here after we are done sewing, and we are going to be cutting this out. This area we don't need, we are going to be cutting it out. And this is basically it for the front part, and this is where our buttons will be. So our button will stop here and that opening will start from there, and this is basically it. I'm going to cut this out. Before you cut, and make sure to close down your bust dart so that you can align your lines properly. If they are not aligning, you can see mine has shifted, so I'll just connect it back like this. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. Before we cut out, I'm going to come up by 2 inches from the side here like this to give it a little bit of curve, then connect it back into the line like so. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Please pay attention to the area I'm cutting. All right, so this is what we have for the front. This is our yoke. We are going to keep this aside just so we can work on the back pattern. For the back pattern, I've already gone ahead to rule out the necessary lines from my shoulder to my bust point, from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 14.5. You can see it there, and then the full length. I'm going to come to the shoulder line, divide my shoulder by 2. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Come here to mark my neck width of 2.5 inches, just the way we did for the front. I'll connect it. I'll come here to mark my neck depth of 1 inch, and I'll connect with my curve row from the neck width all the way to this point. The next thing is to mark our chest line, just the way we did for the front. Divide your bust by 6, add 1.5 inches to the measurement. I will extend that point across this way. This is our chest line. On the chest line, I'll mark my shoulder measurement to have a straight line. I'll connect from the shoulder slope all the way to the point we just marked on the chest line. I'll come here, divide what I have here into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. At the midpoint, I'll go in by ½ an inch. Come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. I'll connect the points together. So I'm going to come to the waistline, mark ½ an inch here. The reason why we are doing this is because our back is not straight, so we don't have any excess at this area. We're going to be taking this excess out this way so that our blazer can lay very flat at the back. Then we're going to be taking all of our measurement from that line. The next thing is to mark our dart. Divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2 and mark it on the chest line, on the bust line, on the waistline, and all the way to the full length, and I'll connect the points together. I'm going to come here to the shoulder slant, divide what I have here into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint, and I'll connect from the midpoint all the way to our dart leg this way. I'm going to come to the waistline, mark ½ an inch on both sides of our dart leg. Then from the waistline, I'm going to come down by 6 inches. This is where I want my dart to stop. Then from the chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch. I'll go ahead and connect my dart. So the next thing we are going to do right now is to impute our round body measurement. We've already marked our bust measurement. I'm going to add my sewing allowance of 1 inch. I'll come to the waistline, divide my waist by 4. The 1 inch for that, I'm going to replace it, then add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the waistline, divide my hip line, divide my hip by 4, and then add my sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and shape my pattern paper this way. And this is basically it for the back pattern. I'm going to come up from the side here by 2 inches, just the way we did for the front, to give it a bit of curve. Then I'll connect from that 2 inch with my curve rule into the line this way. And this is basically it for the back pattern. I'll go ahead and cut the pattern paper out. So this is our center back and our side back, and we are going to be cutting times 2 of each. We are going to cut times 2 of the center back and times 2 of the side. The front also, we are going to be cutting times 2 of each piece here. And this is basically it for the pattern drafting. If you find this video helpful, please do well to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any question, anything you don't understand at all, please do well to drop it in the comment section, and I will do well to reply to all your questions. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.